All right, Mark. First things first. How are you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while. You were out in Vegas for a little bit. How was your trip, bro?
Good, good. Got to spend some time at Salas Boxing Gym. Got to spend some time at Pound for Pound Boxing Gym. Got to talk to a lot of local guys that are out there now doing it big. Some local guys here training at Pound for Pound, training at Salas. It was a good experience. Spent a lot of time with Mr. Salas. Video coming soon.
Well, Mark, some sad news for me, at least. I don't know how you feel about this. Teofimo Lopez refuses the Subriel Matias fight. This was a fight that I was looking forward to. I don't know if you were looking forward to it as well, but it's not going to go down, man. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it's not a fight that I was really looking forward to. I don't know where I'm going with Tio. I don't know what to think of Tio. I don't know what his situation is with Top Rank. Is he gonna fight? Is he not gonna fight? 1 week, rumors are he doesn't want to fight anybody. He wants to get out of the contract. Next day, rumored he's gonna fight Subriel, and then another rumor he's ducking Subriel, and this and that. I don't like that matchup. I mean, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't think that much of Subriel. He doesn't have Jake Panda
Interesting.
anymore. I don't think he's gonna beat Tio. I don't think he's a matchup for Tio. Tio's still the same guy who beat Lomachenko. Remember that. Subriel is not the boogeyman for Tio.
I thought that this fight was going to be a good fight. I thought it was a good style matchup. You have a boxer puncher versus an aggressive pressure fighter. That's a recipe for a really good fight. But I mean, the way that this all happened was kind of weird. It seemed like they were on a path to meet each other. Top Rank made an offer to Teofimo Lopez for his highest payday of his career, and yet it just didn't go through, man. And I gotta tell you, I'm starting to get frustrated with Teofimo Lopez and his inability to make a fight happen. To give Teofimo Lopez side of it, he's too expensive for Top Rank. So he wasn't getting the money that he thought he should have gotten for this fight. But the logic here is a little twisted because he also said he's too good to fight a fighter who got defeated twice. He said he's not a worthy opponent. That seems really weird to me, man, because why do you need to get paid so much money to fight somebody who's not worthy? That's one side of it. And if Matias is not worthy of fighting Teofimo Lopez, why was Pedro Campa worthy? Why was Sandor Martin worthy? Why was Steve Claggett worthy? He just seems content to wait around for a more suitable fight. He wants to eat. He's been talking about buying out his contract as well with Top Rank. And according to Bob Arum, man, he can't wait it out. He has to get a fight on in order for the clock to tick on the contract. So Teofimo Lopez has to make some decisions if he's going to continue his career. Mark, talking about what's next. You said you don't like the Subriel Matias fight. There are some other fights that you would like to see Teofimo Lopez in. One fight that he mentioned was a unification fight with Richardson Hitchins. I think that's a really bad style matchup for him. I think that's a nightmare matchup for him. What do you think of that one?
I like that fight. I like Hitchins, and I think Hitchins has a better possibility of beating him than Subriel. Once again, Subriel, I mean, who's he beat, right? But Richard Hitchins just
He's
was
beat a
an
lot of good
underdog and
fighters.
beat a champion.
He's beat a lot of good fighters, Mark.
He's beat a lot of good fighters, but he hasn't beat a champ like Richard Hitchinson just did.
Well, he's never gotten a chance to fight him. And remember, Richardson Hitchins avoided Subriel Matias. He was a mandatory for Subriel. He claimed he didn't want to fight with the IBF rule. You know, they have that rule where you can't rehydrate more than 10 pounds after the weigh-in. Okay, he claimed that the reason for not taking the title match against Subriel. But Mark, he did it with Liam Paro. Why was it okay for Liam Paro, but it's not okay for Subriel? One more point. Subriel didn't get to fight the top fighters because the top fighters weren't trying to fight him. That is the definition of a boogeyman.
But he's a proven commodity, Hitchins, and he looks damn good. He should get the Tio fight. I think that Richard Hitchins can beat Tio better than he has a better chance of beating Tio than Subriel does.
I just think a Matias fight would be better TV. Recently, Ryan Garcia was in London at the Ring Magazine Awards, and he met with Turki Al-Sheikh, who just yesterday posted on X, formerly Twitter, a picture of Ryan signing what looks to be a contract. The word is that contract is an agreement for a 2-fight deal. The first fight would be a doubleheader event in May that would have him and Devin Haney in separate fights. Haney has been linked to fighting Jose Ramirez on that card, but Ryan's opponent has not been named yet. And then, should both fighters win, the second fight would be a rematch. What intrigues me, Mark, is that they haven't named Ryan's opponent for the May event. Now, there are some whispers that it's Teofimo Lopez. That's why we kind of brought this up right now. And I think that's a hell of a fight. But you're hearing something different, Mark. You want to tell us what?
Yeah, I'm hearing that that's going to be Pitbull Cruz. And I'm hearing this from the same people who last year, immediately after the Canelo May fight in June, early June, were telling me that it was going to be Berlanga. So
So
I'm
credible
leaning
sources,
more
credible
towards,
sources.
yeah, I'm leaning more towards them. But at this point, who knows, right? I like that first rumor, rumor,
Who?
Teofimo Lopez Ryan. I like
Okay.
that fight better than a Subriel Matias. I think that's just a more sellable fight. He makes a lot more money. And I am hearing Pitbull, though, for Ryan. I think what's going to happen is, I mean, you said it's kind of a lining up. A 2-fight deal seems like the logical thing if we're going to be playing, the rumor mill here. But that's a damn dangerous thing to put him up against a pit bull and just assume he's going to beat him.
You rank Pitbull Cruz more highly than I do. I never thought Pitbull Cruz was an elite fighter. I think he's a decent pressure fighter. He's fun to watch, but I've seen holes in his game. I knew that Rayo was going to beat him. I think Ryan Garcia has a very good chance of beating Pitbull Cruz. One other thing that is not clear with all these rumors, nothing is, right? That where these fights are going to take place. It kind of sounds like the May doubleheader would take place in the U.S. and the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia rematch, should they win, would take place in Saudi Arabia. Does it matter where these fights take place? Because I'm hearing people on the internet, they're saying, oh, these fights need to stay in the U.S. It's bad for boxing if these fights are outside of the country. What is your take on that? Do you think they need to be U.S. fights?
I don't think they have to be. I like Riyadh, man. They do a really cool TV show, man. I mean, everything, their visuals, the concerts, the setup, the walk-ins, the big old screens. I mean, it's made for TV. They know how to put a show on. It's fun to watch. It's early. We could go out with our ladies, as you said, after the fucking show. It feels like watching a football game in the afternoon, and you're excited, something to do during the day. I like it. I like the fact that it frees me up at night to talk about it and make videos and get on YouTube and hear about it. I like it, and I like what they do on TV. They do a really good job. They bring in concerts, and the walk-ins for some reason in Riyadh are freaking awesome. I mean, I like it. They do a good show. The TV's great, and the time is during the day, man.
For the reason you said, the timing of it, having an afternoon of boxing and then having the rest of the evening to do whatever you want to do and have it freed up, I like it for that reason. But I have to push back a little bit on the Riyadh shows. I do have a little bit of critiques on it. First of all, when they're in Saudi Arabia, man, the crowd is dead, bro. It doesn't feel like a big event there. The atmosphere is pretty dull. The other thing about the Riyadh events, they're too long, man. I would like the pacing of the event to go a little bit faster. I love all the fights. I love watching all the fights. I just need them to happen quicker, man. There's no reason for there to be 30 minutes, 25 minutes in between each boxing match. That's just too long. The concerts I can do without. They usually save them for the end of the match or the end of the event. Save it for that, because if you want to tune out, you can tune out afterwards. But the big plus for me is the pay-per-view price. Sign me up, man. You're trying to do that, make it easy for people to pay these pay-per-view prices. Hey, let's do it, man. I can't say a bad thing about that at all. So don't want to nitpick too much, man, but they could tune that up a little bit. It'd be the perfect boxing event for me, man. Tyson Fury. one of the most popular heavyweights of recent years has called it a day. He's finally retiring. And I got to say, man, that escalated pretty quickly. Just weeks after losing for the second time, Tyson Fury went to social media recently, announced his retirement. But is this really the end of the road for Fury? Mark, before you answer, I want to warn you, this isn't the first time this happened. We've been here before. Do you think this is for real?
Yes, David, I think it is real. I mean, he's at the age now where it has to go. And I think, although he was really, really disappointed after the fight, I think he knows he's ending it on a good note because it wasn't a bad performance. He gave it his all. And a lot of people did think he won some of those last two fights. I don't think he won that first one, but the second one, I think, was a better, coming up for him. He gave us some good memories. He fought Klitschko right after the Klitschko fight. He got engaged to his wife. He sang to her. He was a showman. He was hilarious. I mean, he was the it guy for boxing for a while, man. And I put him up there with Muhammad Ali as far as his showmanship and being funny. And he took over September 16th for us when Canelo dropped it, and he picked it up for us. He putting on the Mexican mask and bringing out Kevin McBride and just all of his, having the big fat body and playing with it, just he was a funny guy, man. Yes, he was just as charismatic as Ali. We're gonna miss this guy, and thank you for all the memories. I do think it's real, David. I do. What about you, man?
But teardrop, wipe the tears away.
He was good, man. Funny as hell. Everybody loved this guy.
Look, man, I don't really have a problem with Tyson Fury. I think I just don't rank him as highly as everybody else does. I just don't. But I want to start with this. I'm a little bit skeptical about this announcement. I agree with you. I think this is not a bad way to go out in your career. No one wants to go off of a loss, right? But you got to understand, man, this is the fourth time Fury has retired from boxing, right? And the most recent was back in April of 2022 after he beat Dillian White. And then 6 months later, he was back in the ring again, right? So it's just for that reason, I think he's crying wolf once again. He could be using this retirement as a negotiation tactic to get a bigger offer for an Anthony Joshua fight. And you gotta admit, man, that fight, even now, even after Anthony Joshua's loss and Tyson Fury's loss, that still would sell out Wembley Stadium, and it would be a huge summer event of 2025. And that's going to be one of the biggest fights in UK history. Probably he's going to set some records in boxing history. But just maybe all the stuff you were saying, the two losses to Usyk, those probably hit his pride pretty hard. You got to remember, man, before those fights, he insisted there was no way he would lose to Usyk. He even called Usyk a rabbit, bro. Yeah. Call him a rabbit. And he got whooped by that rabbit. That rabbit could fight. Now, assuming Fury's not jerking anyone around, Mark, and just like you really believe that he's walking away, let's say that he is, what will his legacy be?
The fights with Wilder and the fact that he came back from darkness, man. I mean, he inspired a lot of people to come back from addiction.
2 years.
Yeah. His trilogy with the Wilder and also his comeback from addiction. Yeah.
The way that I'm going to remember him is he's a fighter that I think could have competed with any other heavyweight in any era. The height and the reach, the herky-jerky style, the movement. I think he could have given even the best heavyweights some problems. But I think he falls short of being an all-time great. I wouldn't rank him up there. I think his resume is too soft. But despite all of that, man, there's no denying, like you were saying, Fury made off like a bandit. He captured the public's imagination. And by all accounts, dude, he had a very successful boxing career, right? He made a killing in the sport, hundreds of millions of dollars. He leaves the sport with his faculties intact. He can speak without any issues. He's got a huge bank account. If this is it, I think it's a good way to call it a career. Well, Mark, that's it, bud. Thank you guys for getting us over that big hill. Mark, we accomplished a huge milestone for our channel. We're on to 1,100 subscribers so far. Thank you guys for subscribing. checking out our videos. Please continue to comment. Please hit those like buttons. Let us know what you think about these topics. Do you think Ryan Garcia should fight a Teofimo Lopez, or are you okay with a pit bull fight? Should these fights take place in Riyadh, or do you think they need to happen in the US? Does it even matter? Thank you guys for checking in. This is PYP Boxing. We are out.